Hey guys, welcome back. I hope that you had a great holiday. We are kind of in New Year's week now, so we will be in 2020 the next time that I see you. But I just wanted to talk to you guys really quickly about a book that I recently read. So clearly, this is going to be another book review. This book is actually on the ARC review team so I got to read it early before it came out, and I was so excited about that. And actually, I was going to read this book regardless, but I was so excited to be able to read it early because I was really just ready to get my hands on it as soon as it was announced. So, this book is called How to Quit Your Job and Travel, and it is by Lia Garcia. So, first off, Lia and her husband have a travel blog that I'm absolutely obsessed with. It's called Practical Wanderlust, and I read it religiously. So, when I found out she was reading a book, I was like, oh, perfect, writing a book. Haha. I was like, perfect, it's going to be nonfiction. That means that I can review it. So, yes, I'm giving this book like 5 stars. It was fantastic. So, one of the things that I look for when I'm reading a book that I already read something from that person is that their voice carries. So if I watch you in a television show or I read your blog or anything else, when I read your book, I want your voice to carry. Like, I want it to sound like you. I don't want it to sound like someone else just did all of this for you. So I clearly read Leah's blog, which means that I'm quite familiar with the way that she writes and her voice coming through. I feel like we're personal friends, but I've never met her. But I'm pretty familiar with like her voice. So I was a little bit worried that, it might not be like that, and I was so wrong. This book, like reading this whole book, felt like reading one of her blog posts, and I thought that that was great. So I really liked it. It was funny. It was great. So basically, Leah and her husband went on this year-long honeymoon after they got married. And this book talks about long-term travel and quitting your job to travel or working while you travel, and also about trip planning, and there's travel tips, but all throughout is kind of their story of them traveling together. And it's, guys, it's so good. It's free on Kindle Unlimited, and it just came out this month on December 8th. But it is free on Kindle Unlimited, and it's only like 99 cents if you want to buy it if you don't have Kindle Unlimited. So I 100% suggest this, even if you're not planning on traveling long term. So at this particular point, I don't have a plan to quit my job and travel long term. But I do have a lot of trips planned, or a lot of trips planned in my head, I guess. I don't have a lot of dates down, but I do have 2 trips that I would really like to be able to take hopefully in 2021. One of them is back to Scotland, and then one is to Colombia. And my huge desire to travel to Colombia actually came from Leah and Jeremy as well, because they spent a month in Colombia on their year-long honeymoon, and those are some of my favorite posts on their blog. And I sound like they're sponsoring me or something, but they're clearly not. I just am really passionate about this whole thing. I try to sell this travel blog to everyone. I'm like, oh my god, have you read Practical Wanderlust? So this book starts out from literally you're planning your trip. It's what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? How long do you want to be gone? How long is it going to take you to save the money? How much money are you going to need? Can you work while you travel? Should you house sit? Can you do the digital nomad thing? What are you going to do? And I think that that's really interesting, because there are so many things that you don't think about, even if you're not traveling for a really long time. But kind of thrown throughout is the story of what they did. And Leah worked in corporate fashion, so it wasn't like she was just working at Walmart. She was working at a corporation, and she had a big important job, and she still decided to quit and follow her dream to travel. And I respect that so much, because I think that I am much too afraid to do it. But throughout the book, it talks about all of their times traveling and the mishaps that they had, so we don't make the same mistakes. And also, how to plan how you're going to travel, which I think is so important. I went on a big trip once, and I had a friend that's just like that. My friend Nicola, who I traveled with, is exactly like that. She was sending me maps and walking directions from the bus stop to the hostel that we were staying in and things like that. And I'm not that kind of person. I would have just wandered around in circles looking for the hostel, or just gotten a taxi, because I'm more of just a be in the moment type of person. And she's a this is what we're gonna do type of person. But I was the one that was we need to do this, let's plan this, we're booking it 2 months ahead of time. So it ended up working out, and it also talks in the book about like finding a travel partner that like works for you, because if you are traveling with someone for any amount of time, so this book primarily focuses on long-term travel, but I think that a lot of this can also be put on like shorter term travel. If you're traveling with anyone for really any amount of time, like a long weekend to like a week to a month, if you don't get along with that person, it is going to be terrible. And I've always been really lucky. I usually always get along with people that I'm traveling with. Either I travel with them multiple times, or I already know that I'm going to get along with that person. So I think that's super important as well. But this book also gives you like ways to lay out spreadsheets and ideas of places to go, which I think is really a good thing. It doesn't go super in depth about like, you should go to this place and see at this site and stay at this place, blah, blah, blah. The blog does do that, which I think is great, because I have found places from their blog before. Hello, Leopold's Ice Cream in Savannah, Georgia. Best ice cream I've ever had. Found it on this blog. But, like, it'll tell you, these are well-known backpacking routes. This is a great country to go to. We had issues here. Like, we loved the food here. We thought that this was a really cool place. Be careful if you're driving here. We got trapped in a castle. Like, there's just so much to think about, and I think that this also gives you some great ideas for saving money and for working while you travel. If you are American like I am, it can be difficult to get a work visa. I think only 6 countries will just offer like a temporary work visa to Americans. But if you, or like a travel work visa, I guess, where you're only working like for a month or two. But I was lucky enough to work on a student visa when I traveled, so that was very good for me. Not everyone gets that lucky, and not everyone has the same amount of hours. Like, it can be a lot. But anyway, so this book really kind of like helped me to start laying out ideas for what I wanted to do and for like things that I wanted to see, and it gave me new ideas for like saving money and ways to do things. It also talks about like if you have payments to make, student loan payments, car payments, if you own a house, credit card debt, like things like that, what you should do to still be able to travel, and also to make sure that if you are traveling for a long time, you're not just like shirking your responsibilities, which is so important as well. So I really think that if you're planning on traveling for any amount of time, this is a great book to read. I plan on reading it again or looking through like specific parts of it again as I plan more trips, because like it's useful. I think it's very useful. So I definitely would suggest this. I don't know where my little star thing is, but like I said, I give it 5 stars. And honestly, if you're a little bit wary about reading a travel book, if you're like, I don't even want to travel, it's funny. Like, there's funny parts in it. It tells a great story. And I think that it's just a good book to read. So even if you're thinking, yeah, I don't want to travel, like maybe someone that you know does. Like, it's always good to be prepared. But like I said, there's different parts of the book. So if you're just like really not wanting to worry about a budget, you can skip that part of the book. Or if you're not wanting to plan your destination right now, you're just trying to save money, there's a budgeting part. You know, there's a lot of different parts, and I think that it works well because you can skip around to which part you need. I do also think that it's like quite funny, and it's very laid back. It's not really talking down to you or anything, so you're not going to feel like someone's either trying to sell you a trip or like they're talking to you like you have no idea what you're doing, because clearly you do, because you're reading a travel book. But anyway, I could talk about this for a little bit longer, but I should probably just cut it off because we don't have all day. But yes, I 100% suggest this book. I know it's called How to Quit Your Job and Travel, but even if you're not going to travel for a year, even if you just want to travel for a week or a weekend or 2 weeks or a month or whatever, I definitely suggest it. I think that it's great, and I think that it's important to look at other aspects of nonfiction books, which is why I decided to talk about this one, because a lot of times, I know I do this, I stray towards like memoirs and biographies and stuff like that, and I don't look at nonfiction as an entire category, and it really is. There's so much more to nonfiction than just that. So like travel books are nonfiction, you know, cookbooks, cooking, books about cooking, all that, that's all nonfiction. So branch out a little bit. This is just a new kind of avenue of nonfiction that I haven't really looked at lately. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and like I said, I hope that you're enjoying your holiday, and I wish you guys the happiest of New Year's, and I'll see you next week. Bye.